Am I doing it? Oh, I'm waiting for it to start. I don't know what the deal is with this. Okay, y'all. So I got, some of you might have seen that very bizarre picture of my hand after I took a bath, right? I apologize that I have a bunch of junk in the background. So a lot of people were trying to like figure out what's going on with my hands because I've had some weird skin peeling stuff going on. All right. So I was texted a link, and this is not the first time that somebody has suggested this might be what's happening with me right now. I don't know why Facebook is always giving me error messages. I don't think I need to fix this. And I don't have my glasses on. Why do you have to give me all that? All right, so I was texted a test assessing joint hypermobility. The Ehler's Danlos Society. Now, I already did, I'm not going to go through the hand stuff because I did not pull off what they, like, this is kind of, I'm sure everybody has met somebody who's, I think back when I was a little kid, we called them double jointed, right? They were double jointed. I don't have that stuff going on to what they're describing here. So, for example, they say, okay, the first test is test both sides. Rest the palm of your hand and your forearm on a flat surface with palm side down, fingers straight out. Can the fifth finger, that's your pinky, be bent, lifted upwards at the knuckle to go back beyond 90 degrees? If yes, add 1 point for each hand. It goes straight up, roughly. I don't know if you can see that. I probably need to tilt the screen a little bit if I'm doing this on the... Okay. So here's the table, right? It goes up to about here. That's just below 90 degrees, I think. Okay, so I don't get a point on that one. Same roughly here. So I don't know that it's not hyperextending, I don't think, unless like the rest of you are not capable of doing what I'm doing. But I have always considered that to be normal range. Okay, thumbs. This one I definitely cannot do. With arm straight out and palm facing down. And the wrist then fully bent downward. Okay, fully bent downward, right? Can the thumb be pushed back to the forearm? No. I've got at least 2 inches there. So no, I can't do those things. Elbows, I definitely do not. I can't overextend my elbows. In fact, that would cause me great pain and has in the past. The knees, however, test both sides while standing with the knees locked, bent backwards as far as possible. Does the lower part of either leg extend more than 10 degrees forward? The lower part, okay, right. They want to see a curvature. They want to see a curvature in your legs. So here goes. Here's my legs, y'all. I don't know if you can see it in my jeans. But yes, I absolutely have the curvature in my legs. That much is true. And I remember that from dance all those years ago when I was a kid, that even my dance teachers were concerned that if I stood that far back, I would pass out. But that was natural for me. The spine. Can you bend forward and place the palms of your hands flat on the floor in front of your feet without bending your knees? If yes, add 1 point. I don't know if you can see the floor. Guess if I get all the way over by the fireplace here, right? Yeah, that's no problem for me, y'all. Not a problem. Okay. Not a problem. When reading about this in professional textbooks, the formal language used is as follows. A, with the palm of the hand and forearm resting on a flat surface with the elbow flexed at 90 degrees. If the metacarpal phalangeal joint of the fifth finger can be hyperextended more than 90 degrees. Okay, so they're just going over these. I can't do that stuff with my hands. I can do some weird stuff with my hands, though. You want to say? I can do some weird stuff. So I do have some weird stuff that happens with my hand. I can move my joints around in very, very bizarre ways in my hands. But I can't hyperextend my fingers. Okay, but I have the leg stuff going on. So I guess I got like a 50% on this test. I don't know that that's necessarily the issue, but I have been told 4 years now that it's entirely possible I have Ehler's Danlos because I have some of the other symptoms, which is the extreme flexibility, but it's in my legs and my spine. They don't test you on this, but I was practically a contortionist. Like I could do those rolly things where you pull your ankles up above your head and you like do rolls. I used to be able to do that stuff. I probably can't anymore because now my tendons and muscles have tightened up with age. But I certainly had that going on. The other thing was like joint deterioration. I've got issues in my right hip. I've got issues in my right knee. I've got issues in my right ankle. And another one that I read was the elasticity issue, which is something, especially those of us who are mothers have discovered that when we have a baby, our skin does not go back into place and we end up having a popped bag of skin on our bellies. So it's from everything I've read about this particular condition, you only treat the symptoms. There is no cure for it. There's nothing that they've got in place that can totally make you better. And from what I understand, it's hereditary. And from what I know about my mom and her physical conditions, she has some very similar things going on. So it's entirely possible that's what's wrong with me. And I'm not exactly sure what specialist I would see other than in regards to the skin peeling issue, which obviously you can see, well, hopefully you can see, it's not going on when my hands are dry. It only happens when I take a bath. Like all of a sudden my skin just wants to fall off my body, which is very bizarre, right? But a lot of these things that I see in me, I've seen in my mom too. So it's probably a hereditary condition that none of us have been diagnosed for. So I don't want you to get freaked out that I have some sort of fungus, because I don't think that's the thing. I don't think I have some sort of like contagious disease. I think that I have like a developing hereditary issue that hasn't quite entirely been researched enough to come up with like a one pill solution for it. So it's basically treat all the symptoms. I don't know like what the downsides of this are, like if it reduces life expectancy or anything like that, but it is certainly something that there's plenty of evidence, other than like my hands don't do what they're asking my hands to do, other than I have some weird joint shit going on. Like who can do that? Can you guys do that? Can you do that with your knuckles? Because I can. Anyway, that's what I know about it right now. Um, I have to go see a real doctor about this, and people have been talking to me about this for at least 3 years at this point. I just, until you have a situation where like your skin is falling off your body after you take a bath, you don't really think about it. And then you're like, why is my skin falling off my body? This is so very strange. This is very strange.